This is the Good Government Show.
I believe that good governance and good government does exist, and it exists where the citizens are involved. I love municipal government. I love what happens in cities. It is beautiful, and you can touch it and see it and feel it and know that you're making a difference for people. There's so much that we do at the municipal level that affects our quality of life, including our parks and being able to enjoy our gorgeous Riverwalk, to be safe, to be active, and get out in our city. The U.S. Conference of Mayors talks about how art is an economic development engine. It creates that sense of place, and people want to go take their picture in front of those murals because they're so fun, they're so vibrant, and they bring joy to us. Those are the things that we remember when we travel, when we visit a place, or when we live somewhere.
Welcome to the Good Government Show, and welcome to Season 6 of the Good Government Show. It's been over 130 episodes so far. I've talked to mayors, county commissioners, and people at all levels of government. I've traveled to Washington, D.C., and last year to Tampa and Philadelphia, always in search of good government stories. The good news is, I find them. In all levels of government, so many people get into public service for the right reasons. Most of the time, it's a desire to serve and give back to their city or their county or the project they're passionate about. Things like clean water, maintaining our national parks, making their city better, or just wanting to help serve the place where they came from. I'm inspired. I hope you are too. We already have a great lineup of guests, and more will be joining us. Thanks for listening and being interested in good government. This has never been a political show, and it may be a cliche, but good government has never been more important. It's out there. We just have to look and keep listening. On our first show of the new season, you're going to hear about a mayor working to deliver good government. Being mayor isn't always easy. In the city of Cayce, South Carolina, the mayor says what she's trying to do is continue to provide good government, but that hasn't been simple. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. First, help us share the message of good government by liking us and sharing us where we are on Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Please share our show with your friends and review us right here where you're listening, and join our Good Government Show community. Check out our website for the link. Coming up, you're going to hear my conversation with Elise Partin. She's the mayor of Cayce, South Carolina. This is a city of about 14,000 residents near the state capital of Columbia. Mayor Partin's been in the job for over 16 years, but lately it's gotten rough. And we talk about that. We discussed how you can manage to be the mayor amid many distractions. So you're going to hear from a mayor and what it's like to be in the middle of controversy. But it wasn't just trouble we discussed. We talked about how water management issues have been an area she's worked on. We talked about how a brownfield designation will allow the city to renovate sections of the city's downtown, and that's good government. One thing you'll hear her say is that local government has a lot of experts. She said things like sidewalks and parks, they don't just happen. City workers, city employees, they have to think long-term, and they have to plan and make sure they create forward-thinking projects. And that's good government. So coming up, my conversation with Cayce, South Carolina Mayor Elise Partin. The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's O-U-R for Our Community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration. It was called the War to End All Wars, but it didn't. 3 royal cousins, all kings, one from England, one from Germany, and one from Russia, blundered their way into a war, a completely avoidable war that left millions dead in the trenches across Europe. Good Government Show executive producer Jim Ludlow details the blunders, mistakes, and bluster that started World War I that didn't end all wars. The book, The Royal Cousins, details the events and creates an alternative history. Imagine if World War I never happened. It didn't have to. Just read it yourself. Download the book today on Amazon. It's just 99 cents and a timely look at history. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I have with me Elise Partin, who is the mayor of Cayce, South Carolina. Welcome to the Good Government Show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We talked a little bit. You said, oh, Good Government Show. I like that idea.
Yeah.
We don't have that in my city, I think is how you started. And I was reading a little bit about you, and I think here is a headline I want to read. A tumultuous year for the government of Cayce continues. What's going on?
Well, I honestly wouldn't want to spend time on your show talking about that. There is tumultuous times, and we see that all across the nation.
Right.
People have differences of opinions. I'll continue to stand up for integrity, stand up for our staff. They do an amazing job, and to stand up for our citizens so that they know what's going on and they have an opportunity to participate in our city. I think good governance is exactly what I've been doing since I've been elected. I've been mayor for 16 years, and it's really just been recently that we've had some issues. We have a lot to be proud of in our city, and that's what I want citizens to think about and to remember all the good that we can do together to take care of our city.
So we talked a little bit, yesterday when we met, and you talked about some of the challenges. I mean, how does someone in government manage through tumultuous times?
No, it's a great question. One of my mentors was Mayor Riley, the mayor of Charleston, South Carolina. He was mayor for a very long time. I grew up in Charleston, and my mother worked with him almost his entire career. So I got to see some good examples of government. But really what I got to see was that there were things like parks and sidewalks, knowing that those things don't just happen, that somebody has to think those things through. So through my mother, knowing the director of transportation and the director of parks, it's really amazing what happens at the local government, because you do have really great expertise in parks, in planning, in finance. And so as a mayor, to be able to support those folks, those parts of our team who are doing such excellent work to look out for our citizens, that matters. And the other thing for mayors is to stay connected to our citizens, to make sure that they know what's going on. That's what I've done since I've become mayor.
How do you block out the noise? How do you block out the distractions?
Oh, that's hard. And I don't know that I've done such a great job of it lately.
Okay.
It's heartbreaking to see work that I've built up with various councils through the last decade and a half. It's tough to see some of that be changed, to see a lot of negative impact on our staff. But I believe that good governance and good government does exist, and it exists where the citizens are involved. When I first got in, I embedded so many different ways for our citizens to be involved, more than they ever had been. That, I believe, has been our success and will continue to be our success.
Well, when you have buy-in and you have more involvement,
yes, then
people, I think, on some level go, oh, this isn't as easy as I thought. Oh, this is harder than I thought.
True.
Oh, you mean you can't just, sign a document and it all goes well, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely. A good city is built with the voices of its citizens, and having those people to be involved and to realize that we have a city with people that have different opinions. How do we come together? And we've done that in a number of different ways.
Tell me a little bit about Cayce. Where are you in South Carolina, and what are you dealing with?
Yeah, thanks. So we are right across the river from the capital of Columbia, South Carolina. So we're in the middle of the state.
Okay.
Our city was born out of the banks of the Congaree River. And I understand that I am not the first female leader of our area. I'm the first female leader of our city. But that area, when it was inhabited with indigenous citizens, they had a female leader, I am told by our museum director,
really?
Who led them. Yes.
So you're carrying out a proud tradition.
Hopefully.
All
yes.
right. And what are your biggest challenges in Cayce?
Well, stormwater is a big one.
Right.
How do we deal with infrastructure that was built in the 40s and in the 50s that was built in times when we didn't think about stormwater. We just thought we could fill in, these little neighborhood ponds and it would be fine. How do we go back and fix that infrastructure? And so we've been trying to coordinate the solution to that problem in our city.
I read that you had a flooding issue last year and you personally had to go door to door to get people to evacuate. How hard is that? How hard a job is that?
Well, I didn't personally go door to door. I did do some. Okay. I did a whole lot of connecting. I was in the neighborhood. But we have an amazing department of our police department and our fire department, and they were out there. I was out there with them as they were doing rescues from people in their homes and getting them out of the high flooded zones, an entire family.
How do you, as mayor, make that decision to tell people to evacuate?
Well, it's never done lightly. Ever. We had a time many years before where we had to ask people to stay home and not get on the roads because the roads were flooded. Same thing.
Right.
But you take into account what do we know? What's the data telling us? Is the river rising? How quickly is it rising? What do we need to do to help people to make informed decisions? We never made anybody leave. We would never do that. That is their home. That is their right. But we were there to provide a safe way out if they wanted it and needed it.
And, when you see citizens and say, here's what's going on, your neighborhood is flooding.
Yes.
It's going to flood and it's going to get worse.
Yes.
That must be a particularly hard thing to do.
It's scary. Yeah, it's scary to see people's homes end up underwater. It's certainly concerning. I mean, we saw 3 generations of one family that our fire department helped to get out safely.
You said you've been mayor for
16 years.
16 years.
Yes.
What good government have you brought to your city prior to the more recent tumult?
A whole lot. So our citizens have a lot to be proud of. One of the things that I learned through the Mayor's Institute for City Design is something that has helped us to revitalize the original heart of our city. It was an area that was languishing. There was very little business there. It was
your downtown.
Shuttered. Yeah, our downtown.
Right.
And we've been able to enliven that area again to help bring small businesses, create jobs, create more revenue.
Was it a mill town?
Yes.
Yeah. And all those are gone, right? Because that was South Carolina's kind of bread and butter industry.
Right, exactly.
Was linen mills, clothing mills.
Yep.
All that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. And have you made use of some of those old mill buildings?
Well, we really didn't have many of those things left. They had been gone for a very long time, but we did just recently get a brownfields grant, which is a huge deal.
That is a huge deal.
And very hard to get. And we're looking forward to
a brownfield is...
Thank you.
It's a designation that allows you to repurpose old factory floors, that kind of thing.
Yes. So these are the places that we might consider blight in our cities. Sometimes they're very often they are sites that are environmentally contaminated, and so they're just sitting there languishing. That the brownfields grant provides us an opportunity to help enliven those places that have been vacant for so long.
And what are you doing with those?
We're just getting off the ground with it and moving forward with.
Are there plans in place?
Yeah, so we're working with the building owners so they know what that can do for them and how it can help them to maybe sell that property, whereas they couldn't get buyers before because of the environmental issues, or help them in other ways so that we can bring life.
Are you turning in? Is it going to be entertainment space or housing space or retail space? Or have you decided are you even that far in the planning yet?
Yeah, so these are all privately owned sites that the owners will get to decide what they want to do with it. But this is a tool that will help them to have some funding that they didn't have before, or to be able to get a buyer that was, maybe saying they weren't willing to look at that. This will help them to have buyers look at those properties.
Okay, so brownfield, that's certainly a step forward.
Yes.
Give me some more good government.
Yes. So we have some of the lowest taxes and fees in the entire region.
Okay.
And yet with the highest quality of life.
All right.
And that's a really tight rope to walk. But we've done it very well for a very long time. It meant when I first came in, we had half of our public safety fleet of cars with over 100,000 miles on them or more. So we'd have 2 officers on the way to a call, and one of them would radio in and say, "I'm out, my car died." Well, that's inexcusable, first of all. That's not us taking care of our municipal responsibilities.
No.
But it's also a waste of taxpayer money. Because if you're trying to put money into an engine of 100,000-mile engine, it's not good money spent.
No.
So
you're throwing good money after bad.
Exactly. So we have started to be more proactive about those things many years ago to look at how can we replenish cars more wisely and to get in front of those costs so that we can do a better and more responsible job for our citizens.
And how do you respond to the people who are fighting you on all this?
Silence. I think you hear silence.
Yes, I do.
I don't know. Other than I'm just disappointed. But our citizens get it. Our citizens want it, and they care. And I hope that there's a way that we can find those things that we do agree on, and use that as those opportunities to talk about these things where there have been missteps.
What do you hear from the people in the street when you go to the grocery store, when you're at the, coffee shop?
Disappointment.
Yeah.
I hear disappointment. Yeah.
And I asked this once already, but I'm going to ask it again. You're the mayor. The buck stops with you in Cayce.
Yes.
How do you keep going forward? How do you keep moving forward? How do you keep, because you have to have a positive attitude.
Yes.
At least on display. How do you do that?
And I do have a positive attitude.
Yes.
I mean, we have an absolutely amazing, I'm smiling now. We have an absolutely amazing city, but I am only one vote.
Yeah.
So I can only do so much with one vote. If the majority votes are something else, then I can use my voice to make sure that people understand what matters and what's good. But ultimately, there's only so much I can do in that realm, but I can continue to move things forward. And there's a lot of great things going on in our city that our citizens are involved in and are moving forward to make things better in our city.
And you brought a lot of people into the city, you said.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good. So it's working out a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
You said you were a brownfield project. Is there any other redevelopment going on?
Yes, we have just brought in a branch of the Lexington Medical Hospital has come to our city, which is an important revitalization. We had the only Fortune 500 company in our region was in our city. They since have been bought up by another company, but we do have some corridors that are still in the process of being developed. We also have the 12,000-year history park, which is a really exciting place that's the National Park Service has been involved in because of its historical significance. So our city was born out of the banks of the Congaree River, and there's proof of that habitation from 12,000 years ago. There's also proof of Civil War and Revolutionary War battle fought in this 1 square mile. So it's very historically and culturally and also environmentally significant. So it's nice that we're going to be able to have a visitor center to tell those stories.
Well, a visitor center to tell the stories. History stories are always interesting, I think.
Yes.
Well, in a minute, we're going to get to the heart of your philosophy of government. I think we've heard a little bit, but we're going to hear a whole lot more. Once you wrap up this episode of The Good Government Show, give a listen to our friends over at Good News for Lefties. This daily podcast highlights news stories that show there's more good news out there. Other people in government are really trying to do the right thing. That's Good News for Lefties. Listen where you're listening now. After you get done with this episode, hear more good government stories with our friends at How to Really Run a City. Former mayors Kasim Reed of Atlanta and Michael Nutter of Philadelphia, and their co-host, journalist and author Larry Platt, talk with guests and other mayors about how to really get stuff done in cities around the nation. Check them out where you're listening now or through their nonprofit news site, thephiladelphiacitizen.org/podcasts. So we have a Good Government Show questionnaire. We always start off with the hardest question first. Define what good government is.
Good government is where citizens don't have to come to council meetings because they have trust in what's going on, because they get communicated to all the time. I told you my mentor was Mayor Riley, the longtime mayor of Charleston, South Carolina, and a former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. But he taught me that disaster meets you where you are. Disaster meets you where you are. Well, hopefully you don't have disaster.
Okay.
But if you do this, the things that make great life, meaning we are connected as a community, that we know our neighbors, all of those things that we spent so much time before COVID putting in place so we were more connected, those things matter because then we're living life better. And hopefully disaster never comes, but if it does, we're more connected and we can be more resilient because of it.
Be prepared. Is kind of what you're saying. Yeah,
well, be prepared, but live connected, live in ways that you enjoy and that you're proud of. And that means that you're actually more prepared.
If people are frustrated with government, with you or your administration, what should they do?
Communicate. Come talk to us. Ask us questions. Say, I don't understand this. I didn't like this. What's going on? Can you help me to understand? Asking those questions is a great thing to do because I'm happy to talk to anybody and help them to understand what's what, how these things work, what's the reality of what's going on. You know, that connection really matters.
16 years as mayor. Did you have a role in city government before that?
No.
So you ran right into mayor.
Correct.
First stop.
Yes.
What made you run for mayor? And what, more importantly, I guess, you know, given the fact that you do not have a smooth relationship with some of the people in government who are working with you, why do you stay?
Well, so, you know, I told you that my mother worked for Mayor Riley of Charleston when I was growing up. I knew that things like parks and sidewalks didn't just happen, that somebody had to think those things through. I love municipal government. I love what happens in cities. It is beautiful and you can touch it and see it and feel it and know that you're making a difference for people because they have low taxes and fees, because they feel safe. All of those things matter. They have parks to walk to. They have sidewalks. They have an amazing river walk, which we have. All that matters. Tough times right now. I've worked with so many different councils in my tenure.
Sure.
Tough times right now is what right now is. But that isn't, I didn't get in just because I thought it was going to be easy. I got in to serve my community. And in 2019, the Greater Columbia Chamber of Commerce recognized me as the Public Servant of the Year. That's what I'm doing. That's what I care about. That's why I'm here. I kind of see it as standing in the gap. You know, being there to stand up for integrity and for communication and creating more ways for our citizens to be involved and have a voice.
You came out of nowhere to run for mayor. What were you doing before that? And did you see yourself at some point running for mayor or being in public service?
Well, my husband tells me that he got introduced to me by somebody who said she's going to be mayor one day.
Okay.
I don't remember that, but he has the better memory, so I trust him on that. But I do the same things now that I did before. So our kids were 2 and 3 when I first became mayor. So I raised our kids. I continue to raise our kids. And I work at the university. I'm faculty with the University of South Carolina. I'm also faculty with the Buckley School of Public Speaking, which is in Camden, South Carolina, a little bit further away from us. But I continue to do those things.
Okay. Did you see yourself running for office as a I mean, you know, other than your introduction, were you president of your high school class?
No. I mean, I was involved when I was in high school, but I didn't know what Robert's Rules of Order was. There was an issue that happened in our city. That some property got annexed into our city before I became mayor, and that had made a bunch of us stand up and say, we don't understand what's going on. That doesn't seem like a good decision. And come to find out, there was no municipal review done on the pros and cons of that decision. And so I stood up and eventually ended up running for mayor.
Glad you did?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 16 years in, what would you like people to know about government that you now know because you're a government insider?
Well, I think the things I knew before, which is that what happens in our cities is really important. It's where we live. Do we feel safe? In Cayce, our response time from our police in an emergency is like 3 minutes. that is a relief, because if somebody ever ends up in distress, to know that help is going to be there almost instantaneously is really remarkable. And that's thanks to our great police team. We also have our fire department. We've done some work to be proactive. Here's another good example of what happens when you don't take care of your municipal responsibilities. If we don't have the right fire trucks and things like that, we end up costing our citizens more money, because the insurance that you pay on your home is based on something called an ISO rating. And that's where insurance companies look and say, well, how quick would a fire department get to your house if it was on fire? Are there hydrants nearby? All of those things, we've invested in all of that so that we have a really good ISO rating, and our citizens pay less in their home insurance. There's so much that we do at the municipal level that affects our quality of life, including our parks and being able to enjoy our gorgeous Riverwalk, to be safe, to be active, and get out in our city.
What's the best part of the job?
The people. Yeah, just our citizens, our small businesses, the small businesses that come and want to locate in our city because they see something unique that they want to be a part of. I mean, that's what's happened in the original downtown, the original heart of our city, is all these small businesses saw what we were showing to them, the vision of what was possible, and they wanted to be a part of it.
So I've never been to Cayce. If I were to show up and meet up, where would you take me? Where would we go? What is the quintessential Cayce dinner or lunch?
Well, how long do you have? Because there's so many. But Peacewise Coffee Shop is a local coffee shop. The art gallery right next door, state of the art gallery, and pottery studio. If you had time, we'd spend some time with the pottery wheel. Right. Also across the street for lunch is Trini Lime Caribbean Cafe. All of that is right there at a trailhead for the Cayce Riverwalk, where you can enjoy 20 miles of Riverwalk trail that's absolutely stunning. You'll see birds and other critters that we don't very often get to see many spaces, but that land that's protected means that you get to enjoy hearing the sound of the barred owl, which is one of the most majestic sounds ever. But we have so many other great restaurants, Duke's Pad Thai, Teapot, you name it. I can't even list them all right now.
I haven't heard barbecue yet.
Yeah. Well,
we'll get there.
Maybe low on the border, actually, of our city. But yes, we've got an amazing array of international businesses in our city, which is really phenomenal for a city our size. There's also an escape room, which is super fun to go and figure out how to get out of the room and do those puzzles.
What do you do for fun? You probably need some downtime. What do you do?
Yeah. So I enjoy being on our Riverwalk. I love that. I love being with my family and just, getting to enjoy being together. So it's remarkable.
This is the Good Government Show, and we always try to bring it back to good government. Tell me a good government project you've been managed to implement in the last 16 years that you're really proud of.
Well, that would be the revitalization of the heart of our city. That area was languishing. And so if we can do those things where we can bring more businesses in, then we actually take the burden off of our citizens to have to just rely on property tax. So having those extra businesses means we're diversifying where those taxes come from that we use to provide police and fire and all of those different things. But it also means we have a great place that we can meet up for coffee. It means we have a great place that we can go and get lunch or dinner. We've got, more vibrancy in our community. That includes a lot of art projects that we've done. So we have so many murals that have gone up in our city. The U.S. Conference of Mayors talks about how art is an economic development engine. It creates that sense of place, and people want to go take their picture in front of those murals because they're so fun, they're so vibrant, and they bring joy to us. Those are the things that we remember when we travel, when we visit a place, or when we live somewhere. So those types of things. That's the hard, tangible things. On the soft side, some of my favorite things are that citizens don't have to know me to get things done in our city. This isn't about who you know. This is about a government that is accessible for them to be able to get the resources they need, to be able to know what's going on in their city, and to be able to be involved in it, whether they want to get involved in one of our boards or commissions, or they want to use their voice to say, hey, I have a question about this. They have ways they can do that. And that's what we're supposed to do to create good government.
A tall order, but you're going to get done?
It's being done.
It's been done.
Yes.
Elise Partin, the mayor of Cayce, South Carolina. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck in continuing to deliver good government.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for stopping by.
You too. Thanks, Dave.
Want to hear more about good government? Check out another show I host, Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. I host the show with Brad Kavanaugh, mayor of Dubuque, Iowa, and the immediate past president of the Iowa League of Cities. Together, we talk to leaders in Iowa cities. We talk about what works and what good government looks like in Iowa. Join us right here where you're listening now. That's Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. Well, quite a lot going on in Cayce, South Carolina, and Mayor Elise Partin certainly has her work cut out for her. She said a few things that stood out to me. One was, she said when she talks with the people, she wants to talk about the things that they do agree on. She said you start the work from that point. When I asked her how she could keep going with, what's going on there, she said, well, I continue to move things forward. That means, I hope, not getting stuck in the mud with the issues that don't move good government forward. And she said it's important to stay connected with your citizens. I should add, it was inspiring to hear her say, quote, I love municipal government. I love what's happening in cities. Good luck, Mayor Partin. There's a lot happening in your city. But when you listen to the mayor, it sounds like good government is her priority. And we like that here on the Good Government Show. Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is the Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.